Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now the price of Ethereum is trading slightly below some critical support, but we haven't seen much confirmation just yet. And in just a moment, I'm going to be sharing some important levels of support to pay attention to if we do break below the current level. And I will also be covering other Ethereum charts that we must be paying attention to and what's happening in the stock market right now because it has just opened up. All of that and more in this video, so definitely stick around to the end so that you don't miss out on any of this important information. And if any of that sounds good to you, just before we jump into it, feel free to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Ethereum to US dollar chart on the 2-hour time frame. And yesterday, we did play out that small bullish divergence that I talked about. But after taking one look in the Ethereum RSI on this 2-hour chart, we were beginning to get overheated, approaching overbought territories. And not only that, but if you're bringing out the Fibonacci retracement tool from this high at around 3.4k down to this low at around 3050, what we also had was the golden pocket coming in at approximately 3270, which was acting as short-term resistance for Ethereum. So all of that basically meant that Ethereum was due to see a short-term cool-off. So we were expecting a bit of a cool-off here, but I must admit this was quite the cool-off. And for anyone that watched my Bitcoin update video that I posted a few hours ago on this channel, you would already know that one of the biggest catalysts leading into this bearish price action was simply the stock market playing out a lot of bearish price action, but I'll be talking about that later in the video. For now, let's look at the Ethereum to US dollar chart on the daily time frame and looking at the Fibonacci levels here from the July low up to the all-time high. That puts the golden pockets in between around 2.8k to 2.9k approximately. And as I am recording this video, the price of Ethereum has already dipped below the golden pocket slightly, but we have not seen any confirmed daily candle close below the golden pocket, at least as of right now. The next daily candle close is still around 8 hours away from the time of filming this video. And so basically, if the price of Ethereum can see a daily candle close above around 2.8k, that means that we're technically still holding the golden pocket in the shorter term. But then obviously, if we see a daily candle close well below 2.8k, that means that Ethereum is finally starting to break below the golden pocket, which obviously is not a bullish thing. That is a bearish thing in the shorter term if we see that happening. But as of right now, it's simply just a waiting game to see where the next daily candle close actually is. But what would happen if we do see a confirmed break below 2.8k? Well, I'll be looking at some other areas of support that I have here on the daily chart for Ethereum. First of all, at the time of recording, we are currently running into this first support box, which is coming in between 2,650 and around 2.9k. And by the way, the reason why I've placed these boxes here are due to the Fibonacci levels and due to previous price action respecting these levels as well, either with resistance or major support. So basically, if we see a confirmed break below 2.8k, we still have this September low to pay attention to at once again 2,650. Anything below that, then I'll be focusing on this next support box to the downside, which is starting at around 2.4k and going down towards around 2.3k. And once again, the reason behind that is due to previous resistance and support at around that price range. And not only that, if you're paying attention to those Fibonacci levels, that was also the 78.6% Fibonacci level coming in between 2.3k and 2.4k. And then anything below 2.3k, I'll start focusing on the June and July lows. Now, it's important to mention that I'm not necessarily expecting prices that low. I'm just mentioning some major levels of support that we have here on the chart according to previous price history. So just keep in mind that these are not technical price targets to the downside due to a pattern or anything like that. They are simply there as support areas if we do break the current support, which right now at the time of filming this video, we are currently holding that level considering we haven't seen a confirmed break below this level or the golden pocket just yet. Now, just before talking about some other important Ethereum charts and the stock market, first I'll talk about this 3-day chart for Ethereum, mainly to focus our attention on the 3-day RSI for Ethereum, which is right now still in a very strong downtrend. We are consistently seeing lower highs and lower lows, but obviously at some point in the future, this will come to an end. It is only a matter of time. And technically speaking, if you're looking at the RSI, we are closer to oversold territories than we are to overbought territories here on the 3-day time frame, which does technically mean that we are closer towards some sort of bottom than we are towards the top. But with that being said, and I want to make this clear, we are not going to see any major recovery while the RSI is still in a downtrend. So that means that we need to see a breakout above this descending line of resistance, which is right now coming in at around 37 on the 3-day RSI for Ethereum. So obviously we are not seeing that happen right now, but I will be keeping you updated on this here on the channel and also on my Twitter in real time, linked down below. And also, while we're looking at the 3-day RSI for Ethereum, something very interesting is happening right now. Currently, we are at a lower lower RSI level on the 3-day charts for Ethereum than we were at even in the March 2020 crash. That is right, we are at a lower level in the 3-day RSI than the March 2020 crash. And believe me, that was one of the most severe crashes in crypto's entire history. Bitcoin crashed around 50% in a single day, and Ethereum crashed close to 60% in a single day. And even then, that still only brought the 3-day RSI for Ethereum down towards 34 approximately. And right now, at the time of filming this video, the 3-day RSI for Ethereum is sitting at around 33. The last time we have seen levels this low was back at the end of 2019, which was when the price of Ethereum was at around $100 per Ethereum. So what does this actually mean? Well, it means that right now we are actually in a very rare opportunity that we don't see very often. Once again, the last time we saw this was 2019. So yes, if you're talking about the trends that we've been in over the past 2 months, that has been a bearish trend, and we have not broken out of that bearish trend just yet. But if you're talking about the longer term, as in many months from now and years into the future, simply based on what we are seeing on the charts right now, I am leaning more bullish for the longer term future for Ethereum than I am bearish for Ethereum's long-term future. But of course, that doesn't mean tomorrow. And so because of that, right now, I am still slowly dollar cost averaging into Ethereum and holding for the longer term. Now, taking a quick look at the Ethereum estimated leverage ratio, and right now we are still seeing record highs. And what that means is we are still yet to see any sort of liquidation event. There's still a lot of open interest and a lot of leverage flowing around in the markets at the moment that is simply waiting to be squeezed out of the market. And it is extremely likely that the moment we see that squeeze, whether it's a long squeeze or a short squeeze, it's very likely that when that happens, we're going to see the market turn around very close to when that is happening. Unfortunately, this chart does not tell us when that squeeze is actually going to play out. It simply just prepares us for a liquidation event like what we saw in the beginning of September, for example. We saw a long squeeze, and then also in the second half of July, back then, we saw a liquidation event, but that was a short squeeze. And while I have been sharing this chart on the channel recently, I've been talking about the lead-in phase into these liquidation events. For example, as we were leading up to the September liquidation event, which was a long squeeze once again, both the Ethereum price and the estimated leverage ratio were going to the upside together, meaning that there was a lot of over-leveraged long positions in the markets at that moment, which got squeezed out of the market, which dumped the price of Ethereum coming next. And then if you're looking at the build up to the July short squeeze, of course, the leverage was still increasing, but in this case, the price was heading in the opposite direction. We were in a downtrend in the Ethereum price while the leverage was increasing, which meant that most likely the majority of the positions at that time that were highly leveraged were short positions, betting on the price going further to the downside, and that led into the short squeeze that we saw in July once again. And right now, we are seeing something similar to what we saw back in July. Now, of course, nothing is guaranteed in these markets, so we still have to consider the possibility of a long squeeze. But all I'm saying is if you want to compare the current price action and the current estimated leverage ratio to one of the previous liquidation events that we have here on the screen, the most similar build up to a liquidation event was the July liquidation event, when you simply compare that to what we saw in September and what we are seeing right now. Now, looking at the NASDAQ here on the daily time frame, of course, the markets just opened, and initially when we saw the US stock markets open, the NASDAQ actually opened below the previous close. But at the time of recording right now, we are experiencing a short-term bounce, which is obviously good to see if we can sustain that bounce. But obviously, to see any sort of reversal, we need to see more than just one green candle. We need to see at least some higher lows and higher highs start forming, which will take some time in the stock markets. But what is good to see as of right now is the fact that the NASDAQ is still holding above that September low, which is coming in at around 14,400 approximately. So as I mentioned recently on the channel, that is a level that I am paying attention to in the NASDAQ. And for those of you that have been subscribed to the channel for even just a few days, you would already know why I'm looking at this chart. But for the new viewers on the channel, the reason why I'm looking at the stock market is because, believe it or not, Bitcoin and Ethereum are highly correlated to what the stock market is doing. Now, obviously, it is not a one-to-one correlation. It's not a perfect correlation, but usually when we see a lot of bullish price action in the stock market, we usually see a similar thing both in Bitcoin and Ethereum. And then anytime we see a lot of bearish price action in the stock market, we usually see a similar thing in both Bitcoin and Ethereum. So what does this mean for Ethereum and what does this mean for crypto? Well, it means that it's very unlikely we'll see a lot of bullish price action without seeing the stock market enter some sort of recovery back to the upside. So that is why I'm keeping a close eye on what's happening, especially in the NASDAQ, because those are the tech stocks. And as always, if there is anything interesting happening here, I'll keep you updated on this channel and also on my Twitter. So if you don't already follow me over my Twitter, definitely make sure you're doing that for all of this extra content throughout the day. And the link to my Twitter is in the description down below and also in the pinned comment. If you got anything of value out of this video, please make sure sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any of these updates that I post every single day. As always, I really do appreciate all of your support in the channel at the moment, especially with all of the bearish sentiment and frustration in the markets at the moment, but you guys are still showing a lot of amazing support, and seriously, I can't thank you enough. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.